3.5 years ago, I set a goal to make $10,000 in a single month. And at the time, I was very broke. I just got off of nursing school, just dropped out, wasn't even working at the time, and I needed to figure something out. I've always envied the life of very successful people, Iman Gadji, a bunch of YouTubers that were out there, like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, a couple influencers like King Batch. I always envied them. I always wanted to be like them. And I always knew that there was an opportunity out there and how to make money online. Now, fast forward 3 months into the business game. After starting, I did my numbers. Obviously the first month wasn't as pretty. I did get my first sale, but that was just the proof of concept that I needed in order to, continue to keep thriving. The second month, I got no sales at all. And then the third month, I hit a 27K month in revenue, and that equated to around 10K in profit in that month. And to me, that was a lot of money at the time. Now, obviously, you've seen the title of this video, why I was happier making 20K per month and 500K per month now. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm a pessimist or that I just don't want to make that much money or that I'm not happy at all making that much money. I'm extremely happy. I have developed a skill set to think abundantly. But if I were to tell you what a healthy threshold of making money is, it would probably be around like 20K every single month. I think that that's like a very healthy threshold. When you're making around 2 to 3K, it's kind of like, okay, like, it's an extra bit of money. It'll cover a little bit of rent. Maybe it'll, help me buy a couple extra or better meals at like a restaurant or something like that. I can go out with friends. Then you start making 5 to 10K a month, and it's just like, okay, now I'm like really balling. Usually this is around like 5 to 7K a month, and now you're starting to spend money on like clothes that you thought you needed, and 3 years later you'll say, oh, like that's kind of a stupid purchase, but essentially you just start buying more clothes, and maybe you start looking into a car or something like that, and then you start hitting like the 5-figure months, and that's where it's just like, okay, like things are really starting to kick up. I can go out. Nobody here is doing this. I'm making 3 times more than the average salary, maybe 2 times more than the average salary, and then anything after that is just like, it's beautiful, like 10 to 20K a month, you're chilling. You can get a nice place, rent it out, make a little few side investments here and there, and you can really just live a really great life. But then for the people that are extremists, right, like myself, people who just want to take it a step further, that want to make the hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month, the millions of dollars a month, the people that, you see on the internet and that they're making millions of dollars a month, what is it about them that, that you don't have? And they're all a lot of them are very big extremists. They like to test the narrative, go against what people say that they can't, and they do it in a very extreme fashion. And what I realize is that a lot of these people, they just love to be put into uncomfortable situations. I've talked to a lot of millionaires, I've talked to even billionaires, and they always like changed my way of thinking. Sometimes I would always bring up an idea or a thought, and it was a very scarce idea, and they would say, hey man, you need to think more abundantly. You can't think like that. You're living in a scarcity mindset. You're living with fear, and that's not what it is. What life is about. But essentially, you can turn that fear and turn it into something productive. You can transmute that energy into something that will help you improve. And I'm sure that you have experienced times like that where you kind of you look back on a particular incident that happened, something that you weren't always happy about, probably an area where you felt like you were at rock bottom, but now that you look back at it a couple months later, you're just like, what, I could have really used that lesson. We're always going to have like these mental blocks in life, but it's what makes life so great. You get to learn a little bit more about yourself. You get to learn a little bit about how your mind works, how the world really is. And it's just this wonderful game that if you just continue to put your head down and you continue to go through all the quests, all the objectives, you know that you're getting better. You know that you're getting closer to success. But I'm sure that with my audience now, a lot of you guys want to make a lot of money. I've talked to incredible students. I've talked to plenty of people and they said, you know what, I want to make $1 million a month. And I said, you know what, that's great. You know what I mean? But are you ready to go through the sacrifices, the trials and tribulations in order to start making even $10,000 a month, or $100,000 a month, or $1 million a month, whatever it is? And obviously, I don't say that, I don't think that you can do it. I genuinely believe that they can. There's a student that joined the program like a couple months ago, and he says, I'm like, how much money do you want to make? And he says, I want to make $100K per month, or $30K per month in month one. I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, let's put in the work. Let's do it. Let's see you hit that 30K month. And I genuinely believe that you can. And it's interesting because, like, even when I said that, even if he were to say that to other people, maybe his family members or his friends, maybe that they'd start laughing and start saying that he's crazy, that it's impossible. But, I myself, I told him that, hey, you know what? I believe that you can do it. And it creates this unique feeling that he's never experienced before. Like, hey, like, this guy actually believes in me. And it was the first time that, because somebody believed in him, he started to believe in himself. And if you want to get to that mark of making like $100,000 per month, you got to be a really great optimist. You got to learn how to turn that negative narrative into something positive. Now, there's a couple reasons as to why I'm making this video. Number one, I want you guys to be prepared as to, some of the things that you might expect in the future when you start scaling up your businesses, things that you might encounter, how you can be ready for it. And why the title of this video is, why I was happier making 20K per month than 500K per month, even though I told you that, I'm extremely happy, you know what I mean? But here are some of the things that you can really expect when you're making this much money, because it is a very busy life. It's a hassle. It's very stressful. But however, I'm extremist. I know that I can manage these very uncomfortable situations, and I believe that a lot of you guys, if you guys think that you guys can get to the point where you're making a lot of money, a lot more money than you can count. But number one is to be ready for countless calls with partners and your accountant. The reality is that, there are a lot of people out there that can make millions and millions of dollars a month or a year by themselves. But in most cases, you're going to need a bigger team. You're going to need to hire more people to take care of particular clients. You're going to have to always be on calls to talk about, what the profit and losses are every single month, every single week. You need to learn how to budget accordingly and budget well. So then that way, that, you're not going to lose money in a certain area. Everything is like very, very calculated. And, sometimes on those calls, you're going to have to hear things that you wish you didn't have to hear. And you're also going to have to say things that you wish you never had to say. For example, like making a decision on whether or not you have to cut certain people from the team, making a decision on whether or not, hey, like, you don't deserve this much because you haven't been putting in the work. Like, you're going to hear those conversations. Like, you have to talk about the hard things first. And a lot of the times you have to go through the hard things. You have to have those conversations. And a lot of people, don't want to have those conversations. They don't want to have the conversation with themselves as to, why they won't. They don't want to answer the hard questions for themselves. It's interesting. But you're going to have to be ready for countless calls with partners and your accountant. There's always going to be something that you're going to have to negotiate. And as you continue to scale, as you continue to build, there's going to be more people that you're going to have to account for a bunch of emotions. And, you have to build a really, really great culture. And sometimes one wrong move or one missed call or one weird plane that you're on a different frequency or different vibration can really set off the rest of the business, and everything will just fall. So you have to be ready, you have to be prepared, and you have to expect that. And if you're not interested in hopping in any of those calls and you're not accountable and you're not answering in a quick manner, then you're gonna lose everything. Number two is an exponential rise of failure. When I was scaling from 20 to 30K a month to 100K a month, there's a lot of testing that's involved in that period before you hit that 100K month. In some cases, in some months, you're going to make a lot of money, and in some cases, you're going to lose a lot of money. But you also got to convince yourself that your mindset, your emotions towards whether you won or lost, and you need to stay neutral. You have to be calm. For example, if you were to look in a pot of boiling water, It's not as clear. It's very disrupt. There's a lot of chaos in it. And when you look in it, you can't see your reflection. It's the same thing if you were to, start a business and your emotions start to get the best of you, and you're not thinking clearly. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You set yourself up for failure. That could also result in a lot of clients that you lose, a lot of money that's lost, a lot of relationships that are lost. And while you're in that stage of really scaling to the six-figure mark, you have to learn how to meditate. You got to learn how to be calm. You got to learn how to find clarity. Now, going back to the pot with the water and everything like that, just look into a pot where the water is still. It's calm. There's more clarity. There's more opportunity, and you can think more clearly. And those are the thoughts and the feelings or the state that you need to be in 24/7 while you are running a business. A lot of business entrepreneurs that I know, they claim to be very, very stoic. They claim to see all perspectives, but they always remain calm, regardless of what war we're going through, what chaos we're going through. No matter what, we're just always staying calm. And there have been times where in that exponential rise of failure, when I was scaling from 20 to 100K per month, there were times where I felt like giving up. There were times where I said, I just want to pull the plug. I can't do this anymore. And the people around you, the entrepreneurs around you, the like I said, the countless calls with partners, they'll try to figure out a way to help you and fix your mental model and say, hey, you know what? We're in this together, man. But we need to optimize. We have to think of it this way. We have to look at it in a better way. We have to solve this problem. We got to solve this mental block that you have. Because it's preventing you from becoming great. It's preventing you from being an optimal partner in the business. It's kind of like how in Spider-Man 2, if you ever watched that movie where Peter Parker, he lost his powers and stuff like that. And he couldn't get it back. It was just the mental block until he started believing in himself again. And then he was able to fight Doc Ock and, save MJ and everything like that. The movie ended off great. But, there's times in our life where we're going to have these mental blocks, and it's going to happen in moments of failure. And the way that you can kind of, work that around is to look at failure as a lesson. Like, instead of saying, I can't believe this is happening to me, it's just like, why is this happening to me? And what is the lesson here that they're trying to teach me? It's just a miracle disguised as what is it? I guess you can say it's a miracle in disguise, right? And it's uncomfortable, but you gotta push through. And I'll talk more about this in my 5th point. But yeah, there's a lot of times where when you want to scale from a 5-figure month to a 6-figure month, there's gonna be a lot of times where you're gonna fail a lot, and you have to remain calm. Number 3 is lost relationships, business partners, friendships. There's been a lot of times where in this business game, in the 3.5 years that I've been doing this, where you would start something with people and you think that they'd be with you for a very long time, but then you end up finishing with other people, or like the people that you started with are just not in the picture and they're doing something else, and you wonder, like, why would they do such a thing? You put them on the pedestal so much, and you want them to win, and you call them your brother and things like that. And they just go. These are the things that you're going to have to go through, and it's going to be something that you're going to have to experience. And that was something that was happening when, again, I was taking it from 20K to 80K a month, but it really puts you in a position to really reflect on, where did I go wrong? Because if I'm a leader and I'm trying to bring this person with me, where did I go wrong? Where did I not incentivize correctly? What did this person see that other person was doing that made that opportunity more attractive, right? Again, business relationships they're going to be lost, and obviously it sucks, and you're going to have to go through that, and you're going to be let down. But then, again, even when they're gone and the workload has increased, you have to remain calm. You have to figure out, okay, how can I see the positives of this? Maybe what is the universe trying to teach me here? Where did I fuck up? At what point of the journey did I screw up in? And what do I have to optimize so that the next time that I bring somebody on, that they won't leave? And that was something that I was able to optimize sometime last year. But yeah, personal relationships and friends. Okay, I want to talk about that now. Again, stemming on lost relationships. I've worked with A lot of friends. When I started my business, I always just like, you always have these ambitions of just like becoming successful with the friends that you have around you or that you grew up with, and you want them to become successful too. But the reality is that, if you want to become an entrepreneur and your friend are on completely different planes, you guys are completely different wavelengths. It's almost and nearly impossible to build a successful business with a friend, because deep in your subconscious, you are thinking about all the dumb shit that you guys have done in the past, all the parties that you have went to, all the drugs that you've tried, like literally everything. All those things are deep in your subconscious, and you're not very well aware of it. And you can try to bring them on, but in most cases, it ends up like a shitty plot to a movie between like friends and business. Um, I've never had like a really great experience bringing on people. I when I started my business, I wanted to bring them on, and I did, and I realized that while I'm here working, I'm actually working twice as hard because I have to hold them accountable for things that they don't want to do. They have to be told what to do. They're not self-sufficient enough, and when the time is right and the time is good, they'll find a way to become self-sufficient. But you can't really be responsible for their success. I only want to help people that want to become successful. I don't want to help people that can't help themselves. But I brought friends on, did not work out. I brought my best friends on, and that totally didn't work out. And I've also brought my cousins on because I just think that it'd be great to just give them an opportunity. They're still with, but it's still hard. And you wanna hold on to these things, but sometimes business is gonna get in the way. And when it's time to when it comes to money, the emotions can be all over the place, and you only know yourself well enough to keep composed. You don't really know the other person and how they could tear off. So, in my opinion, when it comes to, if you're thinking about starting a business with a friend or a family member, just genuinely know deep inside your heart that this person will never, ever, screw off, or that they're deep down there for you in the long run, that they're on the same wavelength as you, that when you're working, they're working, that they want to be great, that they're not cheating themselves. You can see these flags early on. If they cheat themselves, if they say that they're going to do something and they do another, you can see these things. Or if you tell them, hey, don't do this, and they do it, take note of it. And if it happens once, get rid of it. It's better to get rid of it immediately than it is to let it simmer and really boil up into a point where it's just like it's almost impossible to let go, and then when it happens, you almost feel devastated. But lost relationships is number 3. Number 4 is, as you're beginning to scale from 5-figure months to 6-figure months and $1 million months, you're gonna have more disappointed customers. Your business is gonna grow. There's gonna be more people that you're gonna piss off. We're human. There's always gonna be somebody that is going to complain. There's always going to be that one person who can't control their emotions as well as the next person or the next client. But however, you need those disappointed customers because it is what is going to help you optimize your business. I was talking to a client earlier today, and I said, hey, listen, how many times do you think that you're going to fail this year? He says 100. Okay, cool. If you're going to fail 100 times, that means that there's 100 areas that you need to fix in a year, right? But, successful people don't think like that. They're like, okay, how can I test so fast and scale so fast that I can get through those 100 failures or those 100 lessons and gaps within a month? How can I do it within 7 days? And, when you are growing your business, you got to seek out, the disappointments. You kind of expect it. And those are good things. A lot of people say, oh, there's disappointed customers. Your business is shit. I don't believe in the product no more. That's where it's just you got to come in and be like, okay, take authority. Where did I go wrong? What can I fix? Right? And a lot of people think that they need to have that perfect business, that there can't be any mistakes. But mistakes is what brings growth. And again, if you want to go from 20 to 50 to 100K a month to $500,000 a month, there's going to be a lot of mistakes in there that you're going to have to optimize. Like today, we're at $500,000 every single month, and I'm still looking at the issues that we need to fix. There are still things within our system and still certain mental models that we need to fix within our coaches. There's certain things that we have to fix in our setting team. There's certain things that we need to fix in how we present ourselves in our sales team and stuff like that. There's ads that we have to fix. There's copy that we need to fix, right? There's always something that needs to be fixed. But in order to go from, like, again, the 5-figure to the 6-figure months, or even the 7-figure months, you have to adjust as fast as you can. Like, you cannot slow down. And it's incredibly difficult, especially if you're in the space that I'm in. When I was making 20K per month and doing a couple one-on-one mentorships, I was cool in. I was also doing drop shipping at the time. It was chill, you know what I mean? But then when you start making like 500K per month, and you become, again, you're the face of the brand and the company, it becomes very difficult. At least this was the route that I took. Obviously, you don't have to take that route. But however, again, you always need to show up to optimize the product. And if you have a bad product, it can really ruin your reputation, aka my persona online, which is what I'm not trying to do. And those are the things that I really thrive for. I don't want to ruin my reputation. I need to find the gaps and the issues as immediately and as quickly as possible. And if I don't, then it's just like I go down with it. And I've already like kind of I'm very like confident. I live abundantly. I know that that's never gonna happen. Why? Because I'm just always working towards what the next problem is, and always just solving it. I'm obsessed with it, and it's just so interesting. Which honestly leads me on to number 5, which is like just always the pressure to improve the business. Like I said, there's always going to be mistakes, and the more money you make, the more problems that you create, the more problems that you have to solve, and the more issues that you're gonna have to deal with, more complaints. But you can't grow a business without any complaints. So I think it's really interesting. But the pressure to grow the business is like back in the day when you used to play sports and you had this pressure of becoming the best player on the court, or the pressure before running a track race before a run, or running a race before the gun shoots off at the track meet, or anything where you've felt like there's pressure and you always have to impress somebody, or you have to make a really great impression to someone, show them that you're great, show them that you're the best. But like there's always going to be a pressure to improve the business when you're making money, because again, with more people on the team, the more issues you have to deal with, and the more problems you have to solve. And number 6 is like, obviously I spend a lot of time with family and friends, but time away from family and friends. When I was making money, when I was making like 10K a month, I wanted to go to the 20s, the 30s, the 100Ks per month. Like I couldn't just do that in living at home. I couldn't do that living at my parents' house. So I ended up, moving to Miami, moving out of my parents' house. And obviously everybody wants to do that, of course. Everybody wants to, get out of their parents' house. They just think that it's an environment where you can't grow, and I completely agree. If you can afford it and you can make the money and you can figure out a plan that can help you move out, then move out. But time away from family and friends is just like probably one of the biggest things. When I went to Miami, I was gone for 3 months. Contact was very slim, we'd call here and there, but however, it's like, it wasn't as like connected as a family should be. And, the reason why you want to go out is because you need to network with people. For example, myself, when I was doing the 5-figure months, it was always a question between me and my partner as to how we can get to the 6-figure months. Right? Is it going to be through drop shipping? Is it going to be through selling a course? Is it going to be through selling info products? Whatever it is, we got to figure it out. But we need that information. So where do I have to go? Who do I have to meet? Who do I have to get in contact with in order to start hitting those numbers? Because we can't do it ourselves, right? Or as a matter of fact, we don't have the right information. So who has the right information? So there's going to be a lot of time when, you're out there networking and you're working with other people and you're putting your energy towards, building the business and not necessarily with your family and friends. And that's always going to be a tough thing, because as you're creating momentum and building the relationship with somebody else, you're creating momentum in the opposite direction of actually deteriorating your relationships that was once, family and friends. And I don't want you to look at a negative thing. It's just that like something that I realized that, I've spent a lot of time away from family and friends. I know people that have moved out of their parents' house to explore and see what their capabilities are, and see what is actually possible out there. It's just something that you're going to have to go through. And a lot of the times nowadays when I'm working, and I'm thinking about the problems that I have to solve, sometimes I even forget to freaking text my parents or visit sometimes. And every day that passes, I'm just thinking about business. Like, you become so much more obsessed, and your priorities switch, that it goes towards the business and your family. But that's also a big issue, or something that you might come across when you start to really scale your business. Now, that's something that I'm working on right now, but you need to really figure that out for yourself. And honestly, what I realize is that even between 100K per month and 500K per month, there really is no difference. Between 100K per month and 500K per month, it's just like, you're making a little bit more money, but you're still doing the same shit, And I'm still answering phone calls. I'm still hiring people. You're doing the same shit over and over again, and you're just creating more problems. You're making more money. There's really no difference, and that's funny. And to give you a little idea as to how many income streams I have, number one, I got e-commerce. So I sell products online. I find products in China, sell them to North America, so on. I run ads. I do TikTok organic. I do all that, and we're starting to come up onto TikTok Shop now. I also got a personal brand, so I have my own YouTube channel. I sell info products, I sell high ticket programs. So that involves like a course, an ebook, and a community that people can join for a lot of money. And it's been wonderful. I also got my YouTube channel. YouTube channel is great. That brings in some money. Posting on it right now, it's fun. And other small investments and partnerships with other people, of course, that I mentor, that have been helping me, pay bills. And honestly, paying bills is not even an issue no more. It's like really nothing. But all this has been like all done in a time frame of 3.5 years. Like I said in the beginning of this video, 3.5 years ago, I set out a goal to make 10K per month. And it's quite surprising to me as to how far I have genuinely come in going from like, just 10K to now setting goals of like millions of dollars per month. It's quite ridiculous. And, if you're wondering what your journey should look like if you want to show your face, I think that everybody should hop onto e-commerce, build up a brand, make a ton of money through it, organically or ads, whatever it might be, and then use those results to market yourself, to sell an info product, like an ebook on how you got the results you got. Sell them on your story. Show them that it's possible. Talk to them about the trials and tribulations that you went through, and create your own program, create your own community, because you went through that blood, sweat, and tears in order to become successful. Why wouldn't you put somebody else through that? You know what I mean? You could have given a lot of free value, but at the end of the day, like, your time is worth something. Now, if you don't want to show your face, just go the e-commerce route. Go the e-commerce route, and maybe you can use those results and find somebody that can market your results for you, and you start building a program or a community based off of another creator or something like that. There's a lot of people that are doing that right now, and there's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of money that can be made online, and then all you have to do is just start. So again, if you're wondering what your journey should look like, I think that you should definitely follow mine, because it's super easy. There's a lot of people out there that would be willing to learn from you. There's a lot of people out there that are willing to help you. Follow in the footsteps of my journey, man, and just like keep in mind of the things that I've experienced personally, and apply it to your own life, so then that way you can make your own unique story, But at the end of the day, yeah, like, I'm not happier. I'm happy making the money that I'm making. It feels no different. I'm just working just as hard. But really, it is just a mindset. But yeah, this is just essentially, quote unquote, why I was happier making 20K per month than I was 500K per month. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something, and I'm looking forward to seeing you inside the community. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.